He's a Delaware-based CEO whose company just made a big investment in downtown Sioux Falls. We sat down with Bancorp CEO Damian Kozlowski to talk about the outsized role the city is playing in the fintech industry. So the first thing I noticed is you might spend a lot of time in Delaware and elsewhere, but you have an office here in this brand new building.
Yes, so going to be spending a pretty good amount of time here. This is our main bank headquarters.
As of early 2023, South Dakota became the Bancorp's headquarters too. While its holding company remains based in Delaware, the subsidiary Bancorp Bank is now the third largest bank by asset size based in South Dakota.
We are truly a national bank. If you think a difference between a more regional state bank, and we have a footprint all across the country. So we're in Orlando, we're in New York City. We have about 30 offices around the country. Main offices is where most of our people are, but we do business in every state.
Damian Kozlowski's career has taken him across the nation too, including as a senior executive at Citigroup prior to the financial crisis of the mid-2000s.
I actually ran the global private bank of Citigroup, which is a $2 billion, 50-country business that was operated within the Citigroup umbrella. And I've worked across in a lot of different parts of financial services and private equity and investment banking, but also commercial banking. And now the Bancorp is really focused on fintech and the payment system.
He joined the Bancorp in 2016.
The bank was not doing well in 2016. I raised capital for the bank, some new investors, and we restructured the bank over the last many years to really reposition ourselves in the marketplace.
The Bancorp is a bank sponsor, acting as the middleman to offer access to the banking system to clients such as PayPal.
You probably recognize many of the brands that actually use us for their banking needs. So what they do is they kind of control the client experience, the app, like a PayPal app. And what we do is all the middle office architecture beneath that. So we do all the compliance, make sure that there's no money laundering, and we provide a rigorous process and to ensure that it's safe and sound, so that you can have a lot of innovation from these companies. Where if you look at financial services, they've come from these companies, but they have to be run compliant with all the regulations. So our role is to ensure that that occurs.
And Sioux Falls plays a key role in this operation and has for years.
Yes, and it's been a real hotbed. If you kind of trace where fintech started and grew, it was right here in downtown Sioux Falls. And so, you know, both us and our major competitor Pathward started here in Sioux Falls. So there's been a lot of good intellectual capital here, people who are experienced in this area. Other banks are here for credit card reasons because of good laws that govern certain regulations at the state level. So there is a good amount of talent in this area and it's grown over time. So now we're at a position where you're going to decide where you're going to have your office. And you could be anywhere since we're a national bank, but it really made a lot of sense, not only because of the talent, but the type of talent, right? Hardworking people, right? Who do the right thing, who care about the future and want a better life for themselves and their families. That is Sioux Falls right there.
Well, not only could you be anywhere around the country, do you even need to be in an office? And there are companies in your space that would say no. You clearly have said yes.
Yes.
Why is that?
They would be wrong. And the reason is this, especially in the payments area, it's a little bit easier because we have lending businesses too to do that. But in this area, if you're really going to innovate for clients, and we have more than 50 partners, not only in fintech, but across all the payments industry across the United States, you need people together who can solve problems, because there's a lot of innovation going on, and you just can't use the same techniques, the same thing over and over again. You've got to develop new skills. You've got to develop new ways of doing things. In order to that, you need collaboration. So you got to bring the people who know what they're doing together, and they have to work these problems with our clients. And we needed this type of space in order to bring everybody together and really get to new solutions for our clients.
This company has been in existence for years, but does it still have a startup mentality to it, or how would you describe the culture?
It's a very collegial culture, very flat organizational structure. Like, I don't have an assistant. When I I pick up my own phone and I call our investors or our clients back immediately. That's the culture. Always do the right thing, very focused on our regulatory relationships and making sure that what we want, what the clients want to get done, that we can help them navigate it. Sometimes it's not possible, but we try to find solutions with all the different bodies that we work with in order to come to the best result, and so that there can be the maximum amount of innovation with the least amount of risk.
The company is on track for record profitability and forecasting further growth in 2024. There are about 175 people working in the new downtown Sioux Falls office, with the ability to grow to 250.
We're very dedicated, first of all, to Sioux Falls. So that's why we built this offices. We love the people here. We love the moral focus of wanting to do business in the right way, right? The future for us is continuing to build out this middle office that we really provide to all these different payment verticals, whether it's healthcare, government, gift card, fintech, which are known as the neobanks, people like Chime and PayPal. There's a whole real innovation of products and services across all those competitors. So they were very one product for a very long time, and they've all realized that being one product is hard to make a lot of money. So they've all want to add different capabilities. And so as they innovate, we also build our capabilities in order to do that. What's great when you have the scale of so many programs, and we are tied into almost all the infrastructure, we've probably solved problems that many of these programs will have, or when they innovate, we've solved problems like that in the past. So we're perfectly positioned in order to help them build their revenue, therefore our revenue gets built too. And so, if you look at the sponsors bank, these bank sponsors, the people who really enable these payment companies, we have a very unique position. We've invested very heavily in compliance and, Bank Secrecy Act and anti-money laundering, and we have a big portion of the market. So when other people, it's called banking as a service, want to get into it, it's prohibitively expansive. So we're at that size and scale and investment where we say, believe it or not, we say no to 90% of the business incoming today. We only take the largest, most sophisticated programs that have the same ethos as we do, safe and sound innovation, rigorous approach to business, making sure they don't get in trouble in the future so they can grow 2, 3, 4, 5x in the future. And we can ensure that they won't have an issue with the regulatory bodies.
I think that's something a lot of people in Sioux Falls don't realize, is that the infrastructure for your industry now, the requirements to build that are really steep. And Sioux Falls happens to be at the epicenter of the companies that have built it.
Absolutely. The investment is prohibitive, right? So the best way to put it, if you took, it's a limited group of players. Some of them are very small, but if you took our own management team, which I would consider experts, right? Some of them really founded the fintech industry, like my colleague Ryan Harris, who runs our fintech solutions group. If we took all of us, and we've got expertise in banking and money raising, we took all that and we raised a bunch of money and we went to one of our competitors. We couldn't build what we've built here because it's taken us 7 years, and before that, 15 years previous to that. And we have long-term contracts with these 50 programs. So the revenue opportunity isn't there. And the investment is more than $100 million. So that's the barriers. Even if we did it, we couldn't do it. So that's why the people who are working here today are really so focused on really getting and holding our opportunity for the future. There's just so much on the table, and we're in the right place at the right time in the right city.
Well, the talent is key, right? And this office clearly has been designed to appeal to that, to make people want to come into the office. I mean, when you look through here, what is so important and intentional about the design?
Well, everything was, we looked at a lot of different models of design, and it changed over the pandemic, right? So that people have to be more flexible. Some people have said, oh, now everyone's going to come back into the office, and 70% didn't show up. So what we did was try to create an environment, a business environment of collaboration. So there's a lot of companies that have set those. So we learn from example. We also know our own people, what they wanted. So we ask them. And we try to develop a footprint which is aesthetically pleasing, as you know, but really focused on collaborative work, the support of that, the feeling of teamwork, and making sure that people, we're a very inclusive organization too. We want good ideas to come from anywhere, and we want them to be disseminated in groups. So that's exactly what we tried to build.
How would you describe yourself as a leader?
I care a lot about, our success, right? And I want everyone in our organization to be successful, period. I want them to have a great career. I want them to do good things for their own, everyone has their own agenda. I want them to satisfy their agenda and make sure that they bring value here at work, but bring value to the whole community, whether it's their family or other things they're working on. And that's what we really want to accomplish. It's not, it's a bank. You think of it's very immutable, right? You got a safe and you put paper in it. Money doesn't really exist. You put pieces of paper in a safe because they're supposed to be valuable. It's a social system. And so the better we can be as a collaborative, inclusive social system where we can get the talents of people working in the right way, that's what I want. And I think if you look at the where companies are successful, even in a highly regulated industry where it's very tough to do that, those companies thrive. And I want every person in this company and our company to thrive. And along with it, all of our business partners, our investors, and making sure that the regulators feel comfortable with our governance and management of the organization.
Are you finding the talent that you need in Sioux Falls?
Yes. And, we build our own too, right? So there's a good hotbed of talent here who have similar experiences. But we invest. When we find talented people who want to learn, we'll invest in them. We send people to business school. We train them through apprentice programs and interns and all those things we do. But if you have relevant experience and in a town like this where you can be a #1 employer in a lot of ways, because we've brought a lot of this intellectual capital here to Sioux Falls, so it gravitates talent. And if you get the right people at the right time with the right education, even if they're not the most experienced, you can build and empower quite a good employee.
I'm not sure how much time you spent in Sioux Falls or familiarity with it, maybe from your city days a little bit, but impressions of the community as you've learned more about it.
Yeah, it's solid. It's a cheerful, solid, forward-looking community. I mean, this building in itself, the people who built the Sharapa Place and everything, they want a better city. The mayor wants a better city, right? The people around here want the families to do well, people to do well, and they want the city to grow and be prosperous. By the way, that's all of South Dakota. But Sioux Falls, especially as the leading city, they want things to get better for everybody. And that's not true everywhere, unfortunately. And when you feel safe here, you feel like people are all on the same page, and you get people who want to help. They're not going to tell you, well, you can't do that. They say, well, let's figure out how to do it. And that's why Sioux Falls is special, because they will figure it out how to get it done.
Well, you got a great view out the new office window, so hopefully you'll be seeing it a lot.
I want to see the whole city grow much, and I got my phone on right now taking pictures. In 5 years, we're going to be surrounded by tall buildings.
We'd like to thank MarketBeat for sponsoring the CEO series. Stay tuned for more conversations with CEOs making news throughout the year. And for all your latest business headlines, head over to www.siouxfalls.business.